Hey guys, Will Beach here. I am back with another episode of After Hours Market Talk. We are going to review what happened today as well as what we are looking for to happen tomorrow. So let's go ahead and take a look. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and that way we can keep this going. All right, here we go. So we have um, what we were looking for the last 2 days, right? We had the big drop on Monday, and then basically we had consolidation for the last 2 days. This is a 4 hour chart on Euro USD. Okay, so why are we now? We went from momentum down to consolidation to now what we're looking for is a correction. So this will tell us what we're going to see ahead is how strong the correction is. So if you look at my ADXR, we've lost momentum here. With this crossover, we have a positive crossover on the MACD. Again, still below the zero line. Our momentum indicator is above the zero line. Our stochastic is still in the downside territory, but it has been kind of consolidating here, and we're looking for this to stretch back up into the long position. So when we're looking for these types of crossovers, we're looking for the tops of Bollinger Bands initially, and then 50 SMAs after that. So in this instance, I'm looking for a move to go from bottom Bollinger up to top Bollinger. And what you have to keep in mind is as the time progresses, the Bollinger Band condenses, right? Consolidates down, and then you have breakouts. So that would be the indicator would be, are we going to break out of that once we get really tight to it? Um, this is what we saw today. I told you guys be safe today with the Fed talk, and you can see here there's a 15-minute chart. This thing was basically just kind of dwindling down throughout the day, and then we had this big spike long, followed by a drop, and then here we go, moving into the long position, right? Now, here's the kicker. Your indicators are still running short, so they have to consolidate like long enough to bring them back up, or it falls through and it comes back down and continues to the downside. But right now, 15-minute chart, long, 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 long on the stochastic. We're pulling back and consolidating and then starting to favor the long side. So that would be a good sign that we're going to get this correction that we're looking for. Um, so the phases that we talk about is you have consolidation into a momentum play, into consolidation, into correction, right? Meaning you're going to get a play opposite of the momentum trend. And then that's going to dictate whether the momentum continues back in the favor of the trend or if it's strong enough to reverse. So that's what the phases that we kind of look for. I'm going to go to the NASDAQ. This is 15-minute chart NASDAQ last few days here. Obviously, we had the big momentum push to the downside, a day and a half of consolidation here. And then after the Fed, we had the correction, right? You guys see what I'm talking about here. Why this doesn't mean all of a sudden you're long. When you have this as your starting point and you had all this momentum down and you get this little bit of green, that's a correction. That's not a trend reversal. So as we look into the hourly, you can see that we're getting really close to touching the 150. This is an exponential moving average, EMA. And so that would be kind of, you had this long wick here. So it'd be a retest of this long wick here. And then you're going to see if you can follow that up with a push above, consolidate, and continuation. That would start the reversal. If not, you're just going to get this push up and this kind of fade out, right? So on the daily charts, so we have these big indicator charts, right? Sorry if you guys can hear the thunder. Lightning is right here at the doorstep. So we have this very kind of awkward new low and then a couple recoveries. So because this was in a very transitional phase on the daily, meaning there's not momentum, it's not a momentum state, long or short, it's still kind of consolidation, that we're going to be looking for probably a retrace to this 20. And then from there, we're going to look to see if it holds or if it fails, and then retrace to the 50, holds or fails. So this is going to be a process because this was a very strong move, right? As you guys can see. But now what we've done is we've created this downward W. And a lot of times this will become a move back up. But that move back up doesn't have to be that strong. That's why it's a correction, right? Strong momentum down, correction up. If correction holds, consolidate, continuation. If it fails, you immediately get rejection and playing back down to the downside. So we're going to have to keep a tight watch on this. I mean, this could be as simple as it pulls back up to this level, right? And gets rejected. So we're very cautious in this phase because corrections can get just slapped out of the air so fast if momentum to the downside is still strong enough to pull it back. I know a lot of people watch GJ, so it has had a nice solid day overall. Well, this is the start of this day. Let me go into here. So again, downtrend, curving back up for a correction, right? This is a little bit better to see is that we've had this full pullback below the momentum on ADX and a reset. So what we like to see is when this starts peaking above, you can typically play it till it hits the 30. Then you can be a little bit cautious because this is a correction. It's probably going to pull back a little bit. And then you'll see if the trend has held in the consolidation phase, if it wants to continue back up, and then you can catch the new momentum up again. So that would be something I'd be looking out for. This is a 30-minute chart, and it's looking good for a reversal long again. This has been long overall on the daily. So you have this big push initially. You have consolidation. This is what it looks like, by the way. Even though these are big moves, hundreds of pips that could knock anybody out of a position, this is simply consolidation. It ran up, it pulled back, it ran up again. So until it's gaining momentum back to the upside, it's consolidation. And now we kind of have this double top, and a double top could go either way, right? You could fall back through it, or you could get another continuation. So with this, let's see here. With this on the GJ, I would go down to smaller scales. Again, 30 minutes looks good. As far as price targets, we can do Fibonacci's. I like to do moving average crossovers. So I'd be looking for something like a retrace to something like this. This would be a solid correction, right? And again, this would be hundreds of points, but I don't have confirmation yet. What we have is correction, okay? So in correction, we're waiting for this to hold, prove that it wants to continue long, and then we'll catch the next wave of long if that's where it continues. Now, if you went down to like a 1 minute, you would see all those phases. So you see the 30 minutes kind of in this phase over here, and this is a 1 minute chart. So we pulled up, we pulled back, we did this move, and then we started going. We had all this 2 p.m. stuff, so we're going to get past that. Big runs, consolidation move. How do I know it's consolidation? Because all of our indicators are moving in the same direction. Down, 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 and down. So we're just consolidating. And then we start getting our crossover back here, and then we start getting our longs as price holds, right? Because this could have been scary for the downside because that's how it's lining up. But as price holds, you then have your full confirmation right in this range. So you see it's not at the bottom. Full confirmation is right in this range here. Confirmation meaning momentum, because that's what we play. We're not trying to do these little snipes, snipe in and out, snipe in and out. That'll get you in trouble. We want a confirmation play. And as you can see, that where we confirm, it never retraces and you get a nice solid move. That's the biggest thing, right? Because it's very hard to be in a play and get these retraces where you might have just been out of position. Like your direction is right, but you're out of position a little bit, and then you immediately have to go through a drawdown and you get scared and you exit. When you're playing momentum plays and you truly wait for the momentum setup, your drawdown will be minimal. And if it does draw down past your confirmation, then it's failing, right? So even though you might have gotten a momentum confirmation, you know that if it rolls back over, it's failing and you need to get out, basically around break even because it shouldn't come back to that. So it took all this time, right, to come back down. If you draw a line right here where we confirmed this position as being in momentum, it's roughly in this range right here. And at all this time, right, it never comes back to this plane. It consolidates above, and then you get a continuation and a continuation. Now, safe plays are going to be always monitoring what scale we're on, right? So this would have been a good one right here. So this pullback right here would have been a good one because on the 1 minute, that was where it was right back at the 150 EMA, which is a perfect place to enter if you have confirmation and direction. All right, so I hope that answers questions, guys. We called it Monday, or we called it on Saturday, short continuation. We called it on Tuesday, Monday for Tuesday, consolidation. Tuesday for Wednesday, consolidation into Fed. Be careful. Then it got super choppy. A lot of people probably got ripped out of positions left and right in this. Then you wait for clearing, wait an hour afterwards. Let's go and look at where we got confirmation. So if you go, here's 2 o'clock. Here's 37, so 237, 238. This is still wild, right? You wouldn't have wanted to chase that. So price is finally settling down and showing movement in this range. I mean, you're an hour, you're at 3 o'clock, right? Once it held once and held twice, you kind of know it's going to go long. Your best bet would be to wait to the new day and then catch your ride, right? Now, something to be aware of is how tight this consolidation is. That could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing because consolidation means there's a breakout coming, right? So we got to start recognizing where is this going to occur. We've been flat top, flat top, flat top. And now we're curling over on the MACD, but our stochastic's still strong and our momentum indicator has not crossed over yet. So this is still a strong long position on the 15-minute chart. Hopefully it stays that way. I would like to see a nice correction on this, to be honest. On the 4-hour chart, though, this gets tricky on the NASDAQ. This is what I was saying. So I showed you guys Euro USD first. And Euro USD, this was not quite at the top of the Bollinger like the NASDAQ is, but it held, and now it's kind of on top. So, and we have this losing momentum to the down, we have now, the momentum has died out to the downside, giving us the opportunity to now consolidate and correct, right? So we're looking for that correction on the NASDAQ. Now, this is a tricky place. All this space in here is a tricky place to fill because there's no momentum. So if this ran up here, I would be pretty surprised. But if it ran up to this and then rejected, I would not be surprised. So here, at these levels on the Bollinger Bands, this is tricky. It probably is going to end up rolling over a little bit. Then you got to see if it holds right back at this kind of support level and curve back over and go towards the 50 again. How do we monitor? Well, you catch these things a little bit earlier. So if you have kind of, here's some mindset stuff for you guys. If you have a bias in a direction and your trade setup never confirms that bias, then don't trade because you're wrong, right? So if you try and force trades, that's where you're going to start losing money left and right. So if I was long bias right now, yet my indicators kept flashing red, or they never lined up right the way I like to see green, 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 and entering momentum, they never line up. Maybe one of them's red when the other two are green. Whatever the case, then that's not your setup, right? So you could be biased towards short or biased towards long, and it never give you the setup, and therefore do not force that trade. Don't say because I'm biased long, well, it's probably going to go long, even though my indicators aren't set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the position long. And next thing you know, it falls out from under you, and you go, well, I knew it wasn't in my favor. I just thought it was going to go long. That's where you get messed up. Stick with a system, follow it. I'm that guy that people talk about having too many indicators. They're just like, um, people with this many indicators don't know what they're looking at. People with as many indicators as I have are searching for a very specific setup. Um, Everything lines up for, again, I'm a momentum trader, right? I want to catch a momentum run. I'm not trying to snipe. If I was just trying to snipe, I could have one moving average. When price drops below it, I snipe it short, or price goes above it, I try and snipe it long. A stochastic, something super simple, and probably be a 50-50 sniping trader and call it a day. I like to look for the confirmation that allows me to be confident in my move. And I like the longevity of the move, because someone who snipes on a 1 minute chart is probably sniping 20 times a day. I mean, I've been in groups where there's a guy taking like 80 trades a day. I mean, that's insane. And he would send his trades for the day, and they were like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, like 10 seconds at the longest, like an insanely short amount of time, because he's trading like the NASDAQ on, like minis, right? And that movement is insane. So he's just snipe, 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 snipe. Works for a little while, but when it doesn't work in your favor and you don't have an exit plan, then you kind of get messed up. Anyways, so leading into today, we're looking for this correction. It's already corrected a bit, right? A correction then should lead into consolidation, where the correction pulls back, and then we see if new support holds, and we get then a continuation, or support does not hold, and we keep falling down into the momentum state that we anticipated. So we're still technically momentum down, but it's dying off on the 4-hour chart. Guys, the larger the scale, the more powerful the move, right? So if I went, oh, okay, like this is a good position, and I looked at this and it was like pulling back on the 1 minute, well, I should have trust that the 4-hour is stronger than this 1 minute, right? And you could see this right now, right in front of our eyes. The breakout is happening. but there's no the momentum isn't quite there yet. So this is what I call a triple top high before the consolidation again. So this would be a point where I would be cautious, and probably if I was in this position, I would sell it right in this range and be done with it. And the reason why is because at crossovers, even though this is dying momentum to the downside, crossovers usually indicate reversals as well. So it took, right? Here's the chart for you. It took all of this energy from basically this bottom to this point that we see right now for it to lose momentum, right? So at this point, it's pretty exhausted. And how do we know it's exhausted? Because look how long these are all run. This ran from way down here all the way back up to 80, and it hasn't even crossed over 80, giving us long momentum or long, status, if you will. It's exhausted. So if we saw a pullback, our pullback would be to some kind of support level, see if that holds, and wait for the new setup to go long again. So this is dangerous territory up in this range. It would need some massive momentum shift to push through it. This is cautionary. I would wait, personally, I would wait tomorrow. Obviously, when we wake up, we'll have our answer because this is going to run all night long. And we'll have more of an idea of how big the correction is, whether a new support held or not, and we'll be able to go into tomorrow a little more prepared for what to expect. The daily, again, this could easily push up to these levels. This could easily snap short still. Why? Because we're still red on MACD. We're still red in momentum. We're still red in the stochastic. So that's what I'm saying is you get these runs that look like, oh, we're going long. It's a correction. We have not reversed the trend yet. So when you're dealing with that, it can snap back at any time and drop like a rock, and you'd be stuck. So be very cautious when you're trading against the trend. This chart, right, because it's a 4-hour correction, it was kind of safe to play a little bit long once we confirmed that we weren't falling out. But now we're in cautionary range. Guys, this channel is going to be, I'm going to try and do live as much as possible. Like and subscribe. If I have to record it, just depending on time of night, I got kids, so if I have to put them to bed or whatnot, it all depends on whether I'll be live or whether it's recorded. But like and subscribe so you guys can stick with this. The reviews, the analysis. I'm not opposed to doing individual stocks. The reason why I don't do individual stocks is because if you're running with the end of season and the currencies, you're typically going to know where the stocks are going to. I mean, they're all kind of following each other. That's just the way it works. I follow the NASDAQ, but guess what? The Dow, the NASDAQ, S&P, they're all pretty much doing the same thing. So if you want an analysis on any of those, I will do it. You can comment below, and I'll do analysis on individual charts as well, or maybe an individual stock that has just done something incredibly different than the rest of the market. Sure, let's take a look at it. And anyway, so like and subscribe so that way we just keep this community growing. I want you guys to learn. I know I got a lot of indicators. You can ask questions about indicators. I can use that in the next video to kind of give you guys overview. I do have more videos on my channels or on my channel that has a lot of the breakdown of all of these indicators you see in front of you. It looks complicated, but what it's doing is it's really just kind of honing you in to one setup, right? And when your eyes are trained for one setup, then you're more likely to be successful. Anyways, take care, guys. Have a great night. Trade safe tomorrow. Again, let's see what this does. The correction has taken place. We're looking for support to hold and a continuation in a corrective move. until that downtrend breaks. So that's what we're looking for. If not, keep an eye out for more downside. All right. Take care. Have a good night.